Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. So today I'm going to teach you HTML. So let's go. So now what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is a standard markup language for creating web pages and it describes the structure of a web page and consists of series of elements, and these HTML elements tell the browser how to display the content. As we understand what is HTML, now I'll teach you to code it. For this, I prefer you to use CodePen.io. It is an online free platform where you can easily code any CSS, HTML, and Java script. So yeah, let's go. So guys, now I'll tell you how to access CodePen.io. For it, just go to your online web browser. Here I'm using Google and search for CodePen.io and click on enter. Here you would I'll provide that link in the description. As you go in this site, you can just click on login if you have an account, or you can just click on sign up and create your account soon. So I'll just log into my account. So as you have created your account in CodePen.io, you can start coding, but there are few things so that you can code properly. For that, just click on your user menu and click on new pen. This will create a new pen for you. If we come to this area, this platform, here we can see the name of our pen. The name of our project, which we'll name soon. And here we have three platforms, one for HTML, one for CSS, and one for JavaScript. Here we are going to be working with HTML, and here you can save and other things are there. We'll come back to that afterwards. Here now as I'm going to be working on only HTML, so I'll remove CSS and JavaScript. For that, I will go to HTML and click on maximize, which will make other two minimized. Now, and yep, let's go. Now we can start coding. Before anything, I would prefer you to tell two things. First thing, name your project wisely, and I will name it my first code. My first pen I will type, and this is going to be the name of my project, as this is a tutorial for you, or this is a tutorial for you guys, so I have named it like this. And now I'll first, in few things I would tell you is that whatever codes I tell you, don't remember it, just understand it, because if you remember, you will obviously forget. Just understand it so that you have a better so that you can remember them properly and understand each code. So now, as I told you guys, HTML mostly helps us to create a web page. So here, as you code, and here you get the solution. Like if I code h1 and I type my first pen and I close it by h1. So this here you get the solution as I made the code here. So this is how HTML works, and and make sure that you save your project every time after you code, because this is very important. As we learn what is HTML, now we are going to learn to code HTML. For that, you need to learn the basics. So to write anything in HTML, you need to write a code, which you normally do in any other other languages also. But in HTML, to start a code, you need to use lesser than, and here you have to type the code. You have to leave a space there, you have to type, so I'm leaving a space there, and then I will use greater than. So this is basically the opening code, and here you will write your code. In this passage you're going to write the code, and then to close the code, which you have to actually do this, because this is the most important and crucial part of HTML. You have to close it. For that, you have to do the same, lesser than, but you have to keep a slash, then you have to write your code. Then you have to write your code here, then use the greater than. This is how you form a code here. So basically here you write your code, write whatever you want to display here, and here you write the code. Like, see, if I want this in header, so I'll just type h1, which stands for header, and here I will type hello. I'll type hello world, which normally every language starts with hello world, and I'm going to remove the space. And to end this code, I'll write same h1. So this part says h1, this says start h1, and this says end h1. So this is basic. You have to use this greater, lesser than, greater than, and you have to use slash to write a code in it. So this is basically the most important part to write a code, and here it's getting displayed, and I'll be a good person and I'll save my code so that it never loses again. So yeah, this is the basics of HTML. Save your code in your system and open it in a web page, you can just click on export at the bottom of right corner and click on it, and click on export.zip, and here you can see it is open, it has downloaded, and I'll click on open. Then I'll click on my first pen, and I'll click on dist, and here you can see this is opening in my Microsoft Edge HTML document, and I'll just open it. Here you can see the code. Here you can see the code, what I have coded here, the answer for it. So yeah, this is how you can save your HTML code. Guys, now I am in a web page of Wikipedia, and this web page is about HTML. As you can see, from headers we get to know about the these are headers, and we get to know the topic of the web page, and all this is body, which helps us understand what is the topic, and this is emphasized text. The one which I'm selecting is emphasized text, and the one which I'm selecting now is bold text, and these blue text is which open into a new page are called as hyperlink text. And for proof this page is made from HTML, I'm going to left click, and here you can see inspect. So I'll click on it, and here you can see the code used to make this page, and here you can see doc type HTML, which means this document is made from HTML. So yeah, now we can start coding. For that, as I told you about the lesser than and the opening so now we can start coding. To start coding, now we are going, as I told you before, we are going to use the brackets so that we can write our code. So as everyone does, we are going to write our header. For that, I'm going to write h1. And here, so this part is the code. This whole part is our code which tells what is this, like whatever I type now. So I'll type my first pen as usual, and I'll close it by a lesser than a slash and h1 and a lower than, by a greater than. So this is our header. Now as we code this, so now I'm going to tell you I'll explain you the each part of it. See, the H stands for header. It stands for header. This. So H stands for header, and 1 is the size of the font. This 1 can go from 1 to 6. So it can be, so I can type it as 2 and here 2, which will make the font size smaller, and I can make it 3, which will make the font size smaller, and I can make it to 4, which makes the font size more small, and 5, which will make the font smaller, and 6 is the smallest as it can go. This is the smallest, but to start a web page, you have to use h1 to start. Now here, as this works, like h1 tells you, so this h1 tells to the core system that web page that this is the header and the size of it is 1. So this goes in a descending order. 1 is the highest and 6 is the smallest. So yeah, and this H says it is header, and 1 says it is the biggest font, and this is the code. This says to open. This whole thing together tells the system to open a code for this. And the same thing here, but I've used a slash to make it different from it and close it. If I don't do that, assume I do not close it. Now I want to make it as bold. I want to make it as and now I want to make it bold. Now I want to write body. So I'll write hello world, and see, so this joins together and it is big, whereas it shouldn't be. For it is big, it is with first it is with this together, and this is bold, but I want this in a small font. For that, I'll close it. After I close this, now you can see this is here, which is in the right side, right, and that is in a right part. And now I want to so this is okay. Now I'll close it. I'll write lesser than body slash body, and I click on greater than, which will close, and I can write the other code which I want. Like I want to write bold. This is I'll come back to these body and bold, but this is just for your explanation. Here I want to write HTML, and I will close it. I'll click on B, I'll close it, I'll click on B and close it. So here you can see this is bold, but this is not. So what I will do now, I'll cut this from here, and I'll cut it and I'll paste it here. But what I will do, I'll remove, I don't, I by mistake, let's assume that I didn't, by mistakenly, didn't put the closure sign. You can see I want the hello world in body, but this is coming in bold, which is wrong. For that, I'll go back and I'll correct it. I'll just do the close. I'll just use lesser than and click on close, which now has differentiated. Now, yeah, this is how, if you don't, this is the importance of closure sign. Yep. Now next we are going to go on divs, which is also the important part, another important part of HTML, which is div. So basically div is a part of HTML which helps us to differentiate two parts. This is also important. See, now this is the header, but so now this is bold, and I want this to be in one line and I want this body to be another. So what I will do, I will do a div. Div does have closing tags. For that, I'll just type div with the opening tag and I'll close it. So now this is in one line, so this differentiates that HTML. Thus HTML is one part and hello world is another. So this is how div works. It differentiates things, and for it you have to close it. If you type div and leave it off, it will so if you leave it like this and type bold again, I'll just copy the same thing here, and yep, so here this comes in the same line, which I don't want. So what I will do, I will just click on, I'll just close the div and I'll close it. Now I'll open it again so that if I want to differentiate it again. So this is the importance of div.